Hi, everybody. Angela here, Energy Intuit, psychic development mentor, consciousness mentor, psychic medium, intuitive channel, and all of the things. I'm excited to be here with you today. I'm just getting going here with my channel again and trying to upload lives or do lives whenever I can to benefit the collective. So it is my belief that we are all psychic. And so today I'm going to talk to you a bit about a few ways to simply connect to your psychic skills. All right. So I've been doing this work a little bit about me for the last 12 plus years. It's a second career for me. And this is the work that I'll be doing for the rest of my life. I know that we are all intuitive based upon the fact that we have a pineal gland, a pituitary gland, and a physical body from which to divine from. Don't let anyone tell you any differently. You can go ahead and usher out all of those stories that serve as wet blankets on your intuitive fire. The stories of doubt, the stories of I'm not enough, the stories of I'm not that special. None of that's true. That's all part of your shadow work that you get to work through on your path to realizing and optimizing your psychic skills. Okay, so today I like to make psychic development as accessible and simple and practical as I can. So I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about a couple of things that I teach in all of my classes and in my psychic development program, and when I do when I present in front of groups and teach in this way. And it's that it's all really accessible. You want to go through a few steps. You want to make sure that you are grounded. You want to make sure that you're having an open, curious mind. You want to make sure that you bring reverence for these unseen realms that you're connecting with, that you may know less about than you do your existing dimension of reality here in the 3D. And so you always want to bring reverence, humility, those kinds of things to the equation. If you're grounded, and whether or not you shield and how you shield and protect is really up to you. I've had a lot of guidance since 2020 from my team that while we used to be able to fly without not a lot of protection pre-2020, it's a really good idea to put up at least 10 layers of etheric protection in any given situation to really honor your own energy, right? Preserve your energy hygiene. I talk about energy hygiene a lot too. I'll do a live on that in the future. But you want to be really paying attention to your energy and guarding your energy through these processes. There's a lot that goes on in the unseens, and you don't need to know everything that goes on in the unseens to engage with them. And protection is a great idea. Erect, like visually erect, intend, intention is huge, that you've got 10 to 12 layers of protection as you're moving through whatever exercise you're going to do with yourself and your psychic skills. Okay. So, and then you want to start asking questions. So if you're in the situation where you've just had a wild experience, you feel like you just had a spiritually transformative experience, perhaps you felt like you were quantum jumping, perhaps you felt like you walked into a parallel life and back, perhaps you heard a voice talking to you and you're wanting to figure out who it is, perhaps you just woke up from a huge dream and you're wanting to understand some aspects of it. Any of these situations and so many more are ripe for you engaging with the unseens to get a little bit more information about what's going on. So back to the basics here. You want to make sure you're grounded, open, curious mind, bring a certain modicum of reverence for the unseens. And you want to also bring discernment. You want to bring directiveness as well. So many people are taught that the old way of teaching is if this stuff sort of comes to you, if spirit kind of comes to you and shows up at your door, shows up in a dream, shows up when you're in a space, then you're special or touched and you're psychic. And it's something that you're meant to passively wait for to receive. And I don't teach like that. I teach this stuff directively. We all have the capacity to engage, to express our free will, to ask questions of the unseens, and they follow universal law, the law of the cosmos, really, that dictates that when we're expressing free will, then they can engage with us. And so a lot of people wait passively for things to happen. And if you're not asking questions or engaging, really owning your empowerment by way of being directive, then you might not get very far with your process. So you want to operate from the standpoint that you absolutely have the right to ask questions and be directive and be grounded and protect yourself as you're engaging with your guides to get some answers in terms of whether or not that was a parallel reality you walked through, a meaningful dream that you had, the voice that you heard, whether that was a spirit guide or someone done talking to you. Okay, so with these basics, what you want to do is you want to essentially engage in a Q&A with the unseens. You can do this telepathically in your mind. You can do it by writing. You can do it by speaking aloud. It really doesn't matter which way that you do engage with them. That you're engaging with them is the more important aspect of this exercise and of you checking in with the unseens upon what's happened. Now, many people, when they start asking questions and they're new at this, they may not have their clairaudience online, or they may not realize that what they're seeing in the spaces that they consider where their imagination takes place, they may not realize that that is exactly how the unseens are answering them, is through visions, is through hearing kind of that very subtle, quiet earworm in the back of your head, is how you hear your clairaudience. They may not realize that a sensation in their body is one of the ways that they're receiving an answer from spirit, or that reciprocal engagement. You start asking questions, you might start having experiences in your body. And so if you start having those things happen when you ask questions, that is one of the many ways that the unseens are trying to talk to you. So how do you develop psychically from here, right? You go from perhaps posing questions, not even sure if the answers that are coming through are answers, wondering if that your knee starts to feel thick, your right knee, wondering if that's a message. You get a sharp pain in your, left thumb, wondering if that's a message. Keep asking questions. You may not get answers right away in ways that are readable and discernible to you. What you're doing is you're opening up that neural network, you're creating that neural pathway, you're creating that habit, you're creating that reverence, you're sowing the seeds of the relationship with the unseens, whether you recognize the particular guides that you're working with or not. So you want to go ahead in faith and in trust and forge that relationship, asking questions, even if you're not getting answers back. And then you want to continue this process for yourself. You may choose to engage with different divination practices. You might want to bring in a pendulum. You might be somebody who likes to ascribe that a yes is even and odds are no, and roll a die or some dice. You may be somebody that wants to flip cards of the same way, right? A deck of playing cards, red could be no, black could be yes. You can ascribe the meaning whichever way and then go ahead and ask your questions and divine. You may turn to different divination tools, and there's everything right, nothing wrong with that. But just know that the longer that you reinforce, the more times that you go back and sit down and ask questions with your guides, be directed, be open, show reverence, have that open curiosity, you're going to start to get answers. It's a matter of figuring out how they're coming through in your psychic pathways and then understanding kind of what those mean for you. From a psychic development standpoint, we all have some universal themes, right? So we might all sort of experience or receive a message of water and it connotes emotion. There may be some other ones like that, but I find that they're fewer and farther between. And the best way to approach psychic development is to consider your association with a different object or a scene that you are being shown. Our guides are always going to work through our filters. And so our associations with different objects or different places or different symbols is going to be a part of the meaning when we have a message come through like that for us to then express to someone else if it's a message we're getting on behalf of or for someone else. So if you're trying to discern meaning from different images and things that you're hearing or that are coming through, go to your association with that song, with that image, with that aspect of that dream, with etc., the voice you heard. So you want to kind of start with yourself as the filtering point. Your guides are bringing it through you, so it's going to make some sense to you based upon your associations with those different things. I did a workshop not too long ago and illustrated this a little bit. And I asked everybody in the room to consider their association to a red apple. And I asked anybody that associates original sin, please raise your hand. A few people raised their hand. Anyone that associates health with this, please raise your hand. A few people raised their hand. Anybody that associates this with a teacher, please raise your hand, right? A few people raised their hand. Somebody else, then other people that hadn't raised their hands had different associations. It helped to illustrate how we can all, with one symbol, have different associations to it. So a real psychic development rule of thumb is to know yourself, to know your baseline, to know your associations, to know why you have particular associations, so that when messages do come through, when you get those pathways opened up more and you're connecting more fluidly, that you understand the meaning of some of what's being brought to you. The last thing I'll say on this is that spirit really likes to work in fun and playful ways. And so don't take it all too seriously. Have as much fun as you can. You're going to be doing a couple of things with that. You're going to keep your vibration, your frequency higher if you're having fun and approaching it playfully. You're also going to be staying out of your ego if you do it that way, by and large. If you take it too seriously, you're probably looking for an answer to come through that you want. Your ego is probably involved, and those are no-nos in this process. If you're not sure how to escort your ego out of the process, you can intend that you're ushering out those linear aspects of your brain and suspending them, give them something to do while you engage with the unseens and get grounded and shielded and protected and ask questions. So that's always something that you can do. Intention will carry you a long way. You can intend that you're ushering out your ego. You can intend that you're protected. You can intend that you have 12 layers of protection going up and around you. Intention can carry you a really long way on this journey of engaging with the unseens. All right, this has been a little snippet of some psychic development tools today for you to use. I am Angela, founder of Energy Intuit. I appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned here to this channel for more videos coming your way. And let me know what you'd like to hear about. I'm always happy to take requests and hear what it is that people would like me to speak